Here to keep the chase going, share information, spread unity, preserve our heritage and our culture. We're trying to achieve something that you just can't catch. We're always trying to find a better way, trying to make better dogs. That's what Dixie Doggers Podcast is. That's who we are.
This episode is brought to you by Rankin Ranch 38 Cattle Company. Marc Rankin specializes in Brahma and Brahma Cross cattle in Oglethorpe County, Georgia. You can contact him at 407-832-2077. 407-832-2077. This episode is also brought to you by Phil Wilson of UC Hunting Properties. If you're buying or selling land, farms, or hunting property, these folks know land. You can contact him at 678-791-3483, 678-791-3483, or visit his website down below in the description.
All right, everybody. Back here again. Doing another show.
Yes, indeed.
This would be is this the last one of the year?
I think so.
It should be about the last one of the year. That's a lot of them that we've done this year.
Of the year. I'm not sure.
It'd be the last one that we've done. Might be the first one that comes out in the first year. Either way, it's a lot of damn shows we've done this year, boys. I'm telling you. We held it 3 or 4 a week, or 3 a week for a long, many time. Now we kind of got back down to 2. So, and you know, Dixie Doggers, we do a little bit of everything, anything hunting and dog related. So we've got and we don't hold nothing against nobody. Mm-hmm. If somebody has a blue tick, we don't care. We don't care. If they run walker dogs, we still love them. It's all the same. And speaking of that, we got a guest with us tonight. That he knows a guy that runs a walker dog from time to time, and he probably been known to have one of them colored up dogs himself. So without further ado, we have Mr. Brett Denney with us. How are we doing, Mr. Brett?
Pretty good. How about you?
Doing good, buddy. How are you? Tell us a little bit tell these listeners about yourself and who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
I'm Brett Denney. I am from Shellman, Georgia, southwest Georgia, about 40 miles from the Alabama line and 60 miles from the Florida line.
Mm-hmm.
We got gnats, mosquitoes, big swamps. I've been coon hunting for about 35 years. Competition coon hunting probably for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I run a big landscaping outfit in Albany, Georgia, where some of y'all might know where the Winter Classic used to be.
Yes, sir.
That's where I grew up at, about 30 miles from there.
Okay.
That's pretty much it, really.
Good deal. So now, you said you've been coon hunting a long time now. Give us a little rundown on the coon hunting that you're doing. Give us a history on your coon. I tell you what, I'd like to know how you got into it, who got you started, and how was your first dogs and stuff. Give us a little history on that. Everybody loves the stories, so throw it out there.
My dad worked at the fire department. He had a guy that coon hunted with him named Ricky Marshall. And Ricky had 2 nice dogs. We went hunting. Shot 2 or 3 coons that night. I was pretty much hooked. He helped me get a few dogs. They were tree coons, but they wasn't nothing flashy. Always wanted that one that could win and put me on the cover of a magazine or this and that. And I probably went through about 10 dogs before I got a pretty decent dog. And I guess it was probably 2000 maybe when I started really hitting the competitions circuit and winning a little bit at a young age. Me and my dad hunted same line of dogs after that for probably 12 years and maybe 13, 14 years. Then I started working some bird dogs and kind of got out for a little bit, maybe 2 years, and picked back up and started hunting for the public and been doing that ever since.
Mm-hmm. So what breed of dogs are you running?
Well, my main breed that we really run is a lot of walker dogs.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have a blue tick right now that's a young pup that we're training. Pretty nice pup. We We have the number one plot in the country.
Okay.
We have a black and tan that's, I think he is the second all-time money winner in BKC history. He's won probably $63,000.
Wow.
We got some English dogs. We got some of everything now.
I was going to say, you got a lot of coon dogs there, Brett.
We do. We try to run these breed races and win these breed races. And last year we won every breed race, or the year before last, would have been 22. We won every breed race at BKC's races.
Damn.
We won the black and tan, the red bone. We didn't win the crossbreed. I take that back. But we won every breed. That was the goal that Ike Grady and Malcolm Raines wanted to do, and we done it. We bought the best of what we could find all over the country of each breed, and we pushed them that year. It took a lot of teamwork, but we got it done.
Yeah, I can imagine that took a lot.
That's amazing.
You know, people don't understand how much it takes to really put into a dog. I mean, the training from a pup and all, of course, is, you know, a tremendous amount. But even after if you go and buy one already going, you have to keep that dog legged up and working and keep it in shape. And to do that with that many breeds, man, y'all got to have a hell of a team going.
Well, there's 3 of us right now. We kind of hunt the bigger stuff, but every one of us have got buddies that hunt. 2 or 3 of us. I've got two or three guys really that help me down here, and they do an awesome job. I mean, they put in the work. They don't get paid. They get their entry fees paid. They keep what they win. So that helps. I mean, they just enjoy coon hunting, but they help me a lot.
Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. What kind of what kind of kennel setups do you guys have? Like, I mean, you got like a big kennel runs, or you got chain tie outs, or like, you know, the 8x or 10x10 kennels. What kind of setups do y'all run? I was kind of curious of that.
My kennels, I have 6 stalls inside, indoor, outdoor kennels. And then I have 6 stalls just outdoor kennels.
Okay.
Well, I got 8. I got 8 indoor, outdoor, and then 6 open outside. So the ones indoor, outdoor are on a heavy duty decking board, kind of like the rubber material they put in them. You can buy that decking board at Lowe's, but it's a pretty nice setup. Yep, the composite.
Yeah, that stuff is awesome. Now, I mean,
it works real good.
It cleans up real good. I mean, it's a lot more expensive, but I mean, it's well worth it. It's well worth it. There's no doubt. So now with running these competitions and stuff like that, some of our listeners are somewhat familiar or whatever. Can you kind of go through how a competition hunt goes, like some of the rules and regulations and stuff that you follow, and then maybe some of the, you know, what kind of prizes and winnings you get and what it takes to get there?
Okay. Some of these hunts are anywhere. Your entry fees are $35 during the weeknights. You might draw anywhere from 4 to 10 dogs. On the weekends, you've got mostly $105 entry fee hunts. You're going to win anywhere from $200 to $400 at these hunts. We go to some of these bigger hunts, $1,000 to $6,500 entry fee hunts, and twice a year we hunt for $100,000. And a lot of these other ones, there's some $2,500 entry fees, $5,000 entry fees, and you're going to win anywhere from $20,000 to $60,000 a weekend on those.
Wow.
And you're going to go out. You're going to go out into a group of 4 dogs, and you're competing against those dogs in that cast. You win that cast, and you'll advance on to the finals, and you get down to 4 dogs, and they're either going to split the money or you're going to hunt 4 dogs.
Mm-hmm. Now on that right there, to get to those real big hunts, you know, do you have to win so many of the smaller hunts, or do you just have to pay the entries? Like, do you have to do
You gotta have
qualifiers? Is what I mean.
yeah, no, you don't have no qualifiers. You've got to have
Okay.
a good money man that puts a lot of trust into you, and good dogs, and you got to know that dog inside and out, what it's
Mm-hmm.
doing when it's doing it.
Yes, sir. That's something that takes a lot right there, is to, you know, learning the dog and what each bark means, and, you know, how it barks and the tone, and it takes a lot to do all that. I couldn't imagine keeping up with that many daggum dogs to know all the different barks.
I try to focus on two and stick with two, and when one gets tired, I'll put it up and bring another one out and try to get another one ready.
Okay. We run quite a few at a time, but now most of our dogs don't bark on track at all. They don't really do nothing until they're, you know, got the hog stopped and it bays, and then you don't know who's barking. They're just all just down there raising cane. And pretty much all ours suck anyway, so, you know, it ain't like a big competition. We feed them, and that's about it. They make us happy, and that's about all they can do.
Amen.
We get lucky every now and then, but I've really got interested in the competition coon hunt, the world in general, because I know quite a few people that's been doing it, and we were talking earlier, you know, Austin Gentry and Justin Tankersley and some of those guys, and they're local guys here, and I've known them for a while. And man, they tell me all this stuff, and it sounds so exciting. And I'm like, man, you know, I really want to go do this stuff. I don't have any coon dogs or anything. I'd like to go just to one of the hunts, or maybe just go as a guest on a cast or something, to see how it's all done first. So that can you do that kind of stuff? Can people go as a guest?
Yeah, just all you would have to do. I would, if like in your area, I'd call Austin and get up to them. They've got a pretty good bit of hunts up that way. I
Mm-hmm.
think they've got, actually coming up in February, I think they've got a pro sport 4-wheeler hunt,
Mm-hmm.
a youth hunt. That would be a good one for you.
Yeah, I need to call him. And we were doing the dog supply stuff, and we went and set up at a couple of hunts for him, you know, over the last couple of years. But we're kind of getting away from the dog supply deal. It takes up a lot of time, and there's so many guys that do it now. It's really hard to get in there. But on your side of things, do you hunt mostly in Georgia, or do you all have to travel a good bit?
No, I travel a pretty good bit. I think tomorrow I'm going to East Dublin, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday I'll leave to go to Grand American in Orangeburg, South Carolina. I think the next weekend I'll be in Carrollton, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
The next weekend I'll be in Shannon, Georgia.
Man.
And then the next weekend I'll be in Ocala, Florida. And we go from Ocala to the $100,000 hunt in Louisiana. And then, yeah, it's about, working a full-time job. I pretty much start in January, and I run pretty hard until April.
Gotcha.
There's not really a weekend open, and then it just kind of tapers off, and I hunt the smaller stuff. And I'll go to one or two big things during the summertime, but I'll just hunt basically local stuff when April comes around. When it gets to be my busy time of year, I kind of slow down a little bit.
Okay. So running all these different kind of hunts and different kind of dogs, and I'm probably gonna get touchy with a few people out there. What has been the most consistent breed that you have found to make a competition coon dog?
The Walker dogs, for sure. They're definitely the most dominant.
Mm-hmm.
You can look in the winner's circle, and
There you go.
that's where you're going to see them. I mean, it just is what it is. I mean,
Yes, sir.
we have all different breeds, but it takes a special off-color breed to come up and compare to these Walker dogs.
Why do you think that is, Brett? I mean, what's the deal with them? Why are they doing that?
Well, we have a black dog that we stud out, the one I was telling you about, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
He is as closest thing to a Walker dog being black and tan that you can find. These black and tan people, if it ain't a certain dog or a certain bloodline, they don't want to do it.
Yes, sir.
So I pretty much have quit studding and giving everything. I'm giving everybody free stud feeds. I'm trying to get 100 pups on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And he's 10 years old, so we're trying to do that in a hurry.
Yes, sir.
It's like pulling teeth with these people. These Walker people, we've studied the bloodlines long enough to know what will work and what won't work.
Yeah.
We'll jump on the other side of the fence and try something. These off-colored people, they won't try it at all.
So they're like, nah. Do you know Eddie Jordan?
Eddie Jordan.
Yeah, he's from here.
Good, yes.
He's from pretty close, and he's got. Don't Eddie has black and tan? Yeah,
I want to say so.
and his son. What's his son's name? His son's name is Hunter.
Mhm.
Hunter Jordan. Run black and tan dogs. They do pretty daggum good. As far as I know, they competition hunt a good bit. But that
name sounds familiar.
His dad is Ed Jordan. His dad, Mr. Jordan, is, let's see, Mr. Ed's probably 78, 76, 78 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And buddy, he's wound tight. He has some of the best stories you'll ever hear. But he was talking about the black and tan dogs, and he said that he had got him a new prospect, but he got him a walker. And I asked him, I said, well, why do you have a walker dog? He said, well, I want to win. I said, oh, I understand.
Smart man.
He was telling me about, he had one, him and another older gentleman were in the store one day, and they got to arguing about a dog. And he said that dog would tree so hard, he said all 4 feet would be on the tree, just toenails curled in it. He said it wouldn't even bounce up and down. He'd just hook in it like a coon. I said, Ed, he said his eyes rolled so far back in his head that he could see his tail. I said, that's pretty hard treeing.
That's right.
I bet you've heard some stuff like that, ain't you?
Oh, yeah. And you sit around these old timers and you hear all kinds of stuff.
And man, we gotta get these young guys in this stuff and keep them in it. So that way we can continue doing this.
It's definitely, I wouldn't say a dying sport, but there's not as many youth involved as I would like. Just in entries in general have come down. I think just the way the economy's been, it's put a hurt on us in the coon hunting world.
I imagine so. That was one of the deals, like I was saying with our little supply business deal. Last year and this year, boy, it was a big difference. You know what I mean? Than the first couple of years we done it. It got down to where the economy was just, like you said, just bad. Nobody had any extra money to spend.
And I think that's a lot to do with it. That, and like I said, if some of these people are not hunting these smaller hunts just because of the simple fact of I can save my money for this month and I can go to this $1,000 to $2,500 entry fee if I just put all my money together.
Yes, sir.
So they're not spreading it out to 5 or 6 hunts a month,
Mm-hmm. So what are you looking for when you go hunt a dog? That say you're going to go buy a dog or even a pup, either one, whatever. But mostly, I'd say for somebody who was going to go buy a coon dog to competition hunt, what are you looking for? Give us the dog you need to buy.
I'm looking for one that's going to be a dead loner. It's going to get struck quick. It's got a lot of heart and has it evidence at the end of the night. He's got to have them coons.
Mm-hmm.
It can't make no mistakes. You're looking for something you can cut loose to get through the country and have the coons as quick as possible. Tree 2 or 3 a hunt, and you're in good shape.
I got you. Now, how important is it for the dog to be open on track? I've talked to a couple of guys that like a tight mouth dog, but to me, it's like, from what I could see and how the hunts go, it seemed like you would want one that would open up.
Well, I've got some of everything. I really enjoy. I know a lot of people don't, but the one bitch I've been doing a lot of winning with, she barks every time her foot hits the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it takes a lot of pressure off of you. She's going to get struck in. Is she really struck? Only God knows that answer, I guess.
That's why
But
I was saying that, because from what I've seen, it's like you can use that to your advantage.
Oh yeah, she's going to be barking, and you can get her struck in as soon as you cut her loose if you want to. She ain't going to stop barking. She's got a good changeover. A lot of people all the time say, "Hey, she's treed." No, she's not treed. You'll know, I promise you. But she makes things easy because she puts you in a situation where you can sit back and you ain't got to have first tree if something comes in there if you absolutely don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
She just puts you in the right situation. She can make a bad tree and still come out on another tree because she gets struck for 100 most of the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Justin Tankersley was the one telling me about that at first because I was watching a video, and it was a video on somebody's phone, and these guys were pretty much about to fist fight. They didn't never come to actual swinging, but they were pushing each other. One guy said, well, the coon could have timbered out, and I understand all that part. But I told Justin, I said, well, man, when you go to all these hunts, I said, well, what happens if there's not a coon there? And that's when he went to explaining the pencil whipping. He said, it's not always about a coon. He said, it's about knowing your rules and how to play the game.
It is. You've got to know your dog and what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to know the rules, and you just got to. I mean, you've got to really be prepared and done your homework to know what to do in every situation.
Yes. And that's what I was getting at with that about the dog barking. It's like, because I've heard some dogs that barked, and we were hunting with Ed Figueroa. He's got a plot named Pete, and that dog will grub a track up. I don't care if it takes 12 hours, whatever. He's one of those dogs. And then my buddy Eddie Horner, he has a female, and she don't say nothing. Now, like I said, we run silent dogs all the time, but as far as coon hunting, I could see where this Pete dog, the way he was barking and stuff, I was like, man, you could already have him treed in. And by the time we walked to him, whether he was actually or had him struck in, I said, by the time we start getting to him, I said, he's got time to tree one. Whereas this other dog that's silent, as soon as she barks, yeah, she's treed, but by that time, you don't know if she's done run track or not. I found all that. I was like, man, there's so much more to this than I thought. It was a lot more to it. I thought it was way different.
Oh, Justin, we had a hunt down here. It's probably 2 years, maybe 3 years ago. I think it was a $250 entry fee, and we didn't have but 4 dogs. It paid good for just a small $250 entry fee. And I drew Justin, and he was winning. We had a dog fight and got rid of a guy, and I treated a coon with a black and tan, and I think we were either tied or he was still beating me by a quarter or something, but we had like 18 seconds left, and he said, you cutting back loose? I said, yeah, and I cut back loose, and as soon as mine got cut loose, he hit a tree and fell treed about 2 trees over from where I had. He said, well, he's got him too. Come on, you won. So I was shocked, but I mean, with 19 seconds, I figured it was over with. But apparently, mine knew where the other coon was too.
Well, I mean, it works like that sometimes. So that's pretty good there. So I'm sure you run into all kind of stuff with dealing with that many people with hounds and stuff. Does it ever really get out of hand? You know what I'm saying? Do people really get just pissed off and stomp and spit and cuss?
Yeah and no. Most of the time you would think it'd be, oh, we're fighting about money and this and that, but you see more people in UKC fighting over a trophy than you do anybody for money.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy, to be honest with you. You would think it'd be the other way around.
Yeah, you definitely would. So
But they would rather cuss and fight over a trophy than that money.
Yeah, that's definitely a little different than.
Yeah, we've seen some people act certain ways in the vape pen world over some buckles. They get to acting a little weird about it.
Oh yeah, they'll do stuff. You're like, I didn't know you would really do that for a buckle, man. Come on, kind of same deal, I guess you'd say. You do a lot of stuff more than you would if worrying about the money.
Oh yeah, you see it all the time, and there's certain ones that no matter where you're at, some people will probably be listening to this podcast and well, yep, he's one of them. They're gonna bitch nonstop. But
oh yeah,
I mean, if you know your rules and you know your dog, and you've got a pretty good dog, you've got a chance to win at any kind of level, really. I mean, a lot of it's luck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were talking about that the other night. It's like we went to several spots and, man, we hunted hard for a couple of hours before we got on anything. And that was the whole moral of the story was you can't catch them if they're not here. I'm sure it's the same
That's
way
right.
with coons. If they ain't out and they ain't moved, then, I mean, unless you're treating a layup coon, but if you're not in the coons, then you can't tree the coons.
We'll be back after a quick break.
And now, thanks to the sponsors and friends of Dixie Doggers. Animal Housing Solutions.
Boars N Broads.
Crockett Taxidermy.
Hardcore Hog Dogs.
Southern Cross Cut Gear.
Ada Y Transport.
4L Kennels.
The American Doghorn Museum.
Unique Hounding Hunting Supply.
Hogbaying.com.
Tuskers Magazine.
Mud Creek Hog Dog Trials.
We had a hunt, I think the second or third weekend of December. And the first week of December, we had a hunt. And I went pleasure hunting in the same woods. We treed 15 singles in 3.5 hours.
Damn.
With three different dogs. And we come back the next weekend. I think that Thursday night we treed 4 or 5 on the cast. Friday and Saturday we hunted it early and late, and I think we treed 2 coons all weekend. I mean, they're there. They might be laid up. They might not be coming down. I mean, there's several different things that could be happening,
So what's some of the most important things you would, you tell somebody who was going to be a beginner, maybe they coon hunted before, of course, but like they want to get into the competition side of things. What kind of advice would you give somebody to make it?
Just knowing your rules and having, like I said, having a good dog, knowing your rules and putting in the homework. You put in the homework, it's going to pay off.
Gotcha.
You lay out there with that dog at night, 4 or 5 hours, 5 or 6 nights a week, it'll pay off. You're going to catch the right breaks at the right time, sometime soon.
That's what I was thinking myself. It's like Nate's got a blue tick. He's been working with her some. She's been, it's a labor of love. Like I said, we're not coon hunters, and this is something that we're just messing with. But I told him the same thing. I was like, guys that do this for real, they hunt these dogs 5 or 6 nights a week. Like they hunt these dogs, and the consistency part of it. I think that's got to be one of the most important parts of it. I would say. How do you feel about that part? Just the consistency part of hunting that dog.
Consistency and just like finding that, like I said, when you find that dog that's special, that you think is going to make it, if you'll put that time in there, it's going to pay off. You go to enough of these hunts, you're going to catch the right breaks. You're going to win these casts. You're going to catch the right breaks to put you in the winner's circle. And it might be one time, but it's going to pay off. Mm-hmm. And the main thing is putting in the time. I mean, that does a lot for them dogs.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of nights I'll leave the house that's pouring down rain, thunder and lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody probably thinks I'm an idiot for leaving, but you never know in that situation of the world finals what that weather's going to do. So you've got to prepare for it.
There you go. Yeah, I think that right there would definitely be a big helping hand, is to be able to hunt in all terrains, all different types of weather, and not that the dog's not able to do it, but that you're prepared for it because you've done it. Most dogs can handle a little bit of terrain change or harsh weather, but if they're used to it, they can handle it a hell of a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, I was at a hunt back in April, would have been the spring super stakes on Thursday night. And when I say it was rough, it was rough.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably 70 degrees and a thunderstorm come in, a bunch of tornadoes.
Mm.
Lights were going out everywhere and at Princeton, Indiana. And my wife, she actually works for PKC. She texts me and it's like, I think I would wait a little bit if y'all could. And I looked at it and I told them guys, man, if we're going to do this, we need to go ahead and do it now. We cut them dogs loose and I couldn't see 3 foot in front of me.
Mm.
And it was lightning and thunder. And I got treed about 10 yards from us. And another guy come in there with me and got treed. And this other guy's dog was under the truck. He stayed there the whole entire night. But we ended up treeing. I think we ended up treeing four or five coons that night. And the weather was the same from when we started to when we finished.
Hell.
And as soon as we finished, it quit raining and it was pretty.
Yeah, that's about right. There you go. That's about right. I didn't even know I went coon hunting the other night. You said the dog was up under the truck?
Yeah, this guy's dog was
That's
under
one
the
of my
truck the
dogs.
whole entire night.
That'd be one of my dogs.
And
My
then-
dog's like, look, man, piss on this. We ain't doing all this. So, but
And I think in February of this year, we were hunting a $100,000 hunt, and it was definitely raining. Now it wasn't thundering and lightning, but it was by far the hardest rain I've ever hunted in my entire life. And we're hunting for $100,000, and we ended up treeing I think we treed 4 or 5 coons in that hunt. It ended up stopping about midway through, but it was pretty rough. But I mean, like I say, you don't ever know the situation you're going to be put in, so you got to train in it.
yes, sir. So, with doing it so many years and stuff, I was going to ask Austin this a while back. I think I might have asked him, but I've got to where I try to ask a lot of the guys that competition hunt, what is the best male dog that you've ever hunted yourself or that you've seen? You know what I mean? That you've hunted with. That you, not necessarily that you were hunting it, but you were in the same cast or whatever. Best male and best female. Give us a little history on those. I'm always curious of that.
Best male, I'm going to say he's not here. We own him. Dustin Weed hunted him for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver Wynn hunts him now. It's probably Wipeout Z.
Mm.
He's a good one.
I've heard a lot.
He's going to make it. He's going to make it happen. It don't matter the conditions. It don't matter the tracks. I used to think for a long time that he was just a hot-nosed dog run through there with his head up, just ambushing these coons. But he can tree any coon you want him to tree, and do it fast and in a hurry and do it in style.
Nice.
Female wise, I don't know. That's a little tough.
Well, what's the best hunt that you've been on? Give us a story about it. Whether it's competition hunt or pleasure hunting or both combined, whatever. Everybody loves hearing good stories, and that draws the nostalgia and the history. So
I'm gonna say the best competition hunt that I've ever been on. That's that brings to my mind every time I think about competition coon hunting is probably the first annual $100,000 hunt we had in PKC. It was in Rolling Forks, Mississippi. I drew a guy on the late round. I think his dog had a lifetime earnings of like $500. And I was like, dang, he's hunting a $8,000 entry fee. And anyways, he ended up winning. His dog didn't look good, but he looked good enough to win that night.
Mm-hmm.
I think that dog won about $2,500 more after that.
Dang.
And then, yeah. And then the next year, I drew him, and I think I drew him on the early round, and he won. Yeah, he won early. I'm trying to think which year. I've been to this thing so many times. I think it might have been the second year or the third year. I don't know. Anyways, he had about $8,000 coming in this hunt, and I went on the final cast. I got beat in the semifinals, and I was on the panel, or I think I was on the panel, or I was giving them a play-by-play. I couldn't remember what I was doing, but him and Doug Hevinger from Mississippi was in the final cast. But this guy is as nice as Steve Sykes is his name. He's from Mississippi, right there, the line. He's from Rolling Forks in that area.
Yeah.
He put on a clinic. I think we treed 13 coons on that final round.
Damn.
And it come down to the last tree. Steve treed, Doug treed. If they both had coons, Steve won. If Doug had a coon and Steve didn't, Doug won. And it come down to the wire. But we treed 13 coons that night, and it was definitely probably the best. I mean, we're hunting for $100,000, so
yeah, that's
a
lot.
Yeah, to have a coon hunt at that caliber and tree that many coons on a final cast is really unheard of.
Yeah, I'd say so. And, and now, okay, so saying it like that, how many coons being treed would you say would be on an average or on a good hunt, on a good cast like that?
It all depends on where you're at. Illinois, Indiana, northern Mississippi, around that White River Refuge in that area, Arkansas. You got good nights and bad nights. It's just if the coons are moving, I mean, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
The way these dogs are now, they're all independent and try to go miles apart. But I mean, you like I said, you've got good nights where you tree 8 or 9, but 13 is about stretching it.
And that's what, a 2-hour cast?
That was a 2-hour hunt, right?
Yeah. Okay. That way I put it into perspective for some of the listeners who aren't familiar with it. So, I mean, you treat 13 coons. I mean, if you do that, damn, that's rolling. I mean, that's rolling.
And we had about 20 minutes of downtime when we first cut them loose. And it just got in a pocket where they're just boom, boom, boom. I mean, you pull off a tree, you're walking to another one.
Yeah, that's dead gun a coon every 4.5, 5 minutes, Yep. And like you said, you're just really knocking them out. That's why I wanted to put that time out there so people could understand, because you got people that's been on coon hunts. And they're like, oh, well, I went coon hunting with my daddy and my uncle, in 1970, and we killed 25. Yeah, but you hunted for 3 days. This is a 2-hour hunt. This is a 2-hour hunt. You knocked out 13. Good night. That's pretty wild there.
In our part of the country, in the wintertime, you're going to score 2 or 3 in the hour hunts or hour and a half hunts.
It's probably about summertime, like that here.
Yeah, it is. And then it's like summertime, these coons, water gets scarce, and you're trying to stay away from gators and snakes and everything else. You might go and one coon. If you tree one coon, you want an hour hunt. One coon usually won a cast here in the summertime.
Okay. It's pretty wild the way the difference is. Like, it can be like that for us with the way we hunt and what we hunt as well. You have certain times where it's better than others. You get down late in the summer. I know a lot of guys, they really don't hunt near as much because of snakes and gators. You know, they really try to avoid everything, and that's where the game's at. It's close to the water because water's got scarce.
That's right. We don't have no downtime in our sport.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to run these hunts and be prepared,
Yeah.
you've got to go. You've got to do your homework all through the summer months and everything else. Which, to me, y'all got a lot of moccasins up there. We got a bunch of moccasins, but we don't ever see them.
Yeah.
But I promise you, you'll see them. You'll see them at your house for some reason.
Yeah, there's a few of them laying around.
We'll be up in the hills.
Yeah, we got a good bit of them water moccasins laying around. I'll tell you something else. Like I hear people talk about the rattlesnakes a lot here, and I know we do have a big population, but in all honesty, we don't see that many. Now, you know, I hear people talk about them all the time, and I have seen some, but we just don't see that many. I don't know why. I'm glad, you know, don't get me wrong. I don't want to see a bunch of them, but I don't know what the difference would be. Y'all have a lot of rattlers
We'll probably,
where y'all at?
we do, and we probably kill one rattlesnake a year, and Michael came through, and it's kind of been a good habitat for him now. So no diamondbacks, all canebrakes. We probably kill 7, 8 a year.
I got you.
Maybe one water moccasin a year, and you would think that would be an every night thing, but no.
Yeah.
We don't see a lot of water moccasins.
Really?
Nope.
That's kind of weird. You would think so, because where you're at, like we went down to, how close are y'all from Blackshear?
Oh, I grew up 15 minutes from Blackshear, but I'm about 40 minutes from Blackshear now.
Oh, okay.
But this year was the most, I think, in April, we got a bunch of rain.
Yeah.
This has been the worst. This was the worst year I've had in a long time with snakes. I think we killed 22 moccasins in 3 nights, and I finally said, "That's it. I'm done until these snakes go away."
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Everywhere you turn, there was a moccasin.
You know, it's weird how they, like you said, how they got that much. The population increased that much.
Well, I think all the water we had in the spring pushed them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
Killed a few rattlesnakes, and then was kind of, you go 2 or 3 months and don't see a snake.
Yeah.
So
I got you. Now so during the summer months, or the warmer months, do you tree more coons then, or in the winter, or deer season, or when do you think when y'all tree the most coons, or is it pretty steady average?
Down here, our best time is usually about November, second week of November to March, April, and it gets into May. Sometimes they start having the babies in May, and you got May is probably my toughest month. But here in the last few years, the weather's been a little bit cooler, so it's been a little bit better. But you know, we always say the coons try to rut down here in January, mid-January, the 1st of February. But I mean, I've seen baby kittens and dens in December that were just born. So who knows what they're doing now? But growing up, it was pretty consistent. You could get on a rut and coon, and end of January, it run miles. And now it's kind of scattered out. But I would say our best months for sure, middle of November, like I said, to about the end of March, I would say would be our best.
Got you. You know, you was talking about it being more consistent when you were younger. I find it was the same thing with about everything when I was growing up in the 80s, you know, up to the early 90s. And my dad always told me it was once they started with this El Nino weather pattern. He said that's when everything changed up. And I don't know, I'm not a weatherman or anything like that, but I remember him talking about that. He said it used to be just way more consistent, and I know the weather did as well, because I grew up in Northeast Arkansas, and like we had some pretty cold winters, snow all the time, ice all the time, you know, and then it got to where we had a lot of mild winters. I wonder how much all that had to play in effect on the game that moves and stuff.
I would say a lot.
Yeah,
I know
think
growing
so.
up, I can remember when we get frost the second week of October, even before deer season started here.
Yes.
And now it's like Thanksgiving before we got a frost this year.
Yeah, and I mean, because like I don't know if you grew up rabbit hunting or squirrel hunting or anything like that, but man, we were rabbit hunting before deer season, and I mean, like we weren't going to. My dad and they were not. We weren't going to rabbit hunt until we had 2 frosts. They ain't turning loose until we done had our second frost. And every year, a lot of times we would already had a frost before rabbit season come in. But of course, rabbit season didn't come in till I think like October the 1st or October 15th back then.
Yeah, see, I think our rabbit season comes in November 1st and runs like February 28th. I used to rabbit hunt a little bit.
Did you?
I actually rabbit hunted before I coon hunted.
I mean, that's something I love doing. We just don't do it. I can't keep that many other dogs and all that stuff. And, you know, it's just a seasonal thing with me. But I know enough people that go that we can jump in and go watch the dogs run. A lot of these guys, they don't even shoot rabbits or nothing. They just let the dogs run, you know.
Yeah, and finding the time to hunt all these things, I've squirrel hunted with dogs. Probably the last 3 years I haven't, but I've had some pretty decent squirrel dogs. But trying to competition coon hunt and hunt these squirrel dogs, the squirrel dogs will walk you to death. The way they're
Yes.
set up now, these competition style dogs are they'll go further than a hound will.
Oh yeah. That's something that we do not want, you know, because we pleasure hunt. You know, I've got one old female out there, and if she goes 200 yards, that's a long way. You know, it's like she's ranging out, and that's not
Right.
true. That's not true with our other dogs, our hog dogs and all that stuff. But we don't want her to go that far. We'll walk at our pace, let her hunt, and I don't want her blowing through the woods. You know, I want it to be fun. And there are times where you got to get out and stretch out and walk a little more, but at the same time, it's like I walk where I want to walk, not where she wants me to walk.
That's right.
Because they will walk, like you said, they will walk you to death.
Sometimes they have no regard for the easiest way.
Yeah.
It seems like they pick the roughest way.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right. And I squirrel hunted pretty hard like I said, about 4 or 5 years ago. I was on Saturdays, I'd squirrel hunt all day and go coon hunting. I'd probably walk 25, 30 miles a day.
There you go.
But
That's
now
a lot of walking.
Getting these dogs ready now. We're using them Polarises. I ain't walking to nothing unless I got to now.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. We went through when I first started running hog dogs. We had 4-wheelers, and then we went to everybody was building trucks, just straight, just a rig to hunt dogs out of. And then we went to side by sides when they all come out and hit the market good, and then we went back to 4-wheelers a little bit. Now we're back to trucks, so it's like I walk hunted for a few years, and it's way. I can cover a whole lot more ground by getting in that truck or buggy or whatever and just ease around.
I've got two 1000 buggies. I got a 4-seater and a single, and I hunt out of that single most of the time. But the axles I've bought in the last few years, trying to get that extra 60 yards of walking out of my system.
Yeah.
I wish I could get them $500 axles back at it every time I've done it.
Yeah.
I have to listen to my wife yell at me all the time. You couldn't walk 60 more yards? Well,
you could, but you was too busy making a road.
That's right. That's right.
I know what you were doing. We could go back out and go around and do all this, or we could just go right through there.
That tree ain't that big.
Yeah, that tree ain't that big. That hill ain't that steep.
I had a buddy of mine hunting with us one night, and he had to get up early to go to work, and he didn't want to hunt until about midnight. It was about 12:30, and I said, "Man, I want to show you what this Polaris will go through." And we pulled up to this spot, and he's like, "Dude, you're not fixing to take this Polaris through here." "Oh yeah, I just went through it the other night." He's like, "No, I got to be at work." I was like, "You'll be at work."
Yeah.
His eyes, boy, you could look on his face like, man, good God, this dude, what is he doing?
Yeah.
And the old man that was hunting with me, he was with me the night before when I done it. He was laughing the whole time. This boy's like, I ain't never gonna make it to work. I ain't never gonna make it to work.
Oh my goodness. But
we did.
did he make it to work though?
Oh yeah, we
did
just
good.
made a 5-minute ride.
Hell yeah, you did real good. Because I done that one time.
That extra.
No, go ahead. Yeah, that extra 60 yards.
60 yards, yeah.
I told a buddy of mine, we were riding over to Mississippi, we were doing some bait sites at a place we were guiding hunts out of, and I told him, he said, well, man, I got to be at work pretty early. I said, well, it ain't but, 2 hours over there and 2 hours back, and we were leaving early that morning. He didn't have to go to work till the next morning. I said, we'll be back before dark. Boy. I think we got stuck at 1 o'clock that afternoon, and we got home. He did make it to work, but he left straight from my house and went straight to work. Now, you know what I mean? It was bad, dude. I told my brother-in-law we were over in around, I say, Starkville, Mississippi, and we were going around this field, and we were in a pickup in Z71, and we were following a Polaris Ranger. And I told him, I said, look, stay right on these ruts right here. I said, do not get off this deal. They had subsoiled the field that we were in, and he literally got over 6 inches, and it hit the frame. He said, man, I don't know what happened. I said, well, welcome to Mississippi. That's what happened. This mud's a little different here.
Yep, it is.
That stuff grabbed you and sucked it down to the bottom, man. It was a mess, dude. That was one of the roughest ones we'd ever been in. So, but Brett, back to the coon hunting stuff here on a more serious note. Why PKC? What's the deal with the PKC? Why is that what you hunt, and why do you think that's the better association for yourself?
As far as the money hunts, you've got PKC and Pro Sport. PKC's been the backbone for a long time. Mm-hmm. Pro Sport's kind of new to the scenes. You got some people converting back and forth, spending money Pro Sport, spending money with PKC. I'd say your main registry is PKC now for money, and UKC for trophies. Okay. UKC's even doing some money hunts now. So I'm actually hunting a UKC hunt next weekend in Orangeburg for money. And then you got ACHA, and I think that's pretty much really it. You've got a few of these kennel clubs that have tried to make their own little deal, but none of them's taken off.
Yeah, I got you.
Mainly UKC and PKC.
Well, see, and that's, I just wanted to make sure that's what it was, because, I drew my own conclusion from interviewing other people and talking with them. And that's what I came up with. It was, PKC is a money hunt, and UKC is more, trophy hunts. That's why I was asking you to see what the difference was.
It is, and you're gonna see a more experienced handler in PKC events than you are in UKC. You're gonna see some real good handlers in UKC as well, but you're gonna see your bigger handlers that know the rules, every rule in that rule book, mm-hmm. in and out, and know a dog better, because they're gonna spend more time preparing for this money. Because the entry fees are higher. And you just see, to me, you see a better class of dogs in PKC than you do in UKC.
Now, do guys like yourself, do you guys want to see, do y'all want to see new people show up? You know what I mean? Do you want to have new handlers, new dogs to put more money into the pot? Or, because I know some deals, they're fine with the way they are. They're like, no, we don't want to draw a new crowd, I didn't know how y'all felt about that, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot either way. It just, some places aren't ready for new stuff.
Right. I like seeing different people. I like seeing different people come to these bigger hunts and win. Just like the one I was talking about, the $100,000 hunt. Yeah. Steve Sykes, he was a local guy he's been in the $100,000 hunt finals twice now.
That's cool.
So I like seeing stuff like that. These
That's
kids
good.
went in and different stuff like that.
Now on
My
the
daughter, she hunts a lot of youth hunts.
oh yeah,
So we see a bunch of different kids come through, through the youth
how's your
program and
daughter?
stuff like that. She's 11. She
11. Okay.
actually in 22, she had a bunch of camps. She really started hunting with me hard in 22. She had a bunch of summer camps that got canceled, and she said, "I'm just going to coon hunt with you all summer, Daddy. I'm going to hunt that youth world." I was like, "Okay." Well, she'd lay out there with me till 3 o'clock in the morning, hunting, hunting, and she went to the youth world and ended up reserve world champion.
Well, good for her.
And
Sweet.
and then the next weekend, I ended up third in the PKC world. So with the same dog, I don't think it's ever been done like that, but it was pretty neat.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's putting the dog through the paces. Now, what dog was
That's
that?
right. That was a dog, Heather Allen's Doc Holiday.
Okay.
I actually finished him after the PKC World that night. The next weekend, I finished him third in the ACHA World Hunt too. So we had a good little run right there for about 3 weeks. We strung together.
Yeah, that's a pretty good run there, no doubt. Now you was
Yeah.
talking about these youth hunts. There's a guy here, and he started doing a kind of like sign your kids up. He does it on Facebook. Jeffrey Mullins.
Yep.
Got a dog named Preacher. I didn't know if you knew Jeff or not. Otter.
I've heard the name.
Everybody calls him Otter. He's got a Walker dog named Preacher, and good solid dog. I've hunted with him, and but Jeffrey, he does a lot of stuff for youth hunts and stuff, and I think it's a good thing the way he does it. Like you said, it's almost like I guess you'd say like a little lottery drawing. You sign your kids up, and he does a numerator, picks a number, and you can bring your kid up there, and you can go with him, you and your child, and he'll take you coon hunting. And I think he's got some little youth headlights he puts together, and we were doing shirts and stuff for him for a while, and but he's got all kind of stuff going like that. I'd like to see people do that.
They're definitely our future. We got to get more kids involved.
Yes, sir. So what do you think could be done different than what's being done to get more of the youth involved?
It's going to take some of these guys just stepping it up and doing a little bit of extra, taking the kid hunting's the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
We take several kids throughout the year. I've got several started in coon hunting, and I give them whatever they need. I mean, just to keep them off the streets and staying out of trouble.
There you go.
This day and time, it's the video games. You got to get them away from that TV.
Yeah, that is a fact. That's a hard thing, because I mean, not just the video games, but you got your tablets, your cell phones, you got all this stuff, and I mean, we as adults, we're just as guilty in a lot of ways. Not all of us, but there's a lot of us. We stay on our phones and stuff all the time, and we could be spending that time with a kid, taking it out there, training a puppy or teaching it something. But
exactly, we actually, I had last week. I had a litter of pups here, and a little girl. I don't even know her daddy or her mama, but a good buddy of mine. And they used to coon hunt, and he was telling me, he's like, look, they want a coon dog puppy. And this little girl does. He's like, how much do you want? They want to give it to her for Christmas. I was like, look, I'm selling these pups, but if it's for a kid, I'll give it to her. And she opened it Christmas morning. They sent me the video, and she calls him Coon Squall now. So anything I can do to help them kids stay involved, I try to do.
Yeah, and that's what it takes. And like you said, there's a lot of guys out there that do spend time with kids, and a lot of them spend time with kids that aren't their own. But there's also a lot of guys that I've seen and that I know personally that they want to wait till their kids, 14 or 15 before they introduce them to it. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But I feel like if you could get them ahead of the curve a little bit, go ahead and get them out there and get them active, by the time they hit 14 or 15, it'll already be instilled in them.
That's right. And they know what's going on most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them at that age, they've been around the game and long enough that they'll know how to train their own dogs at that age.
That's right. That's exactly right. I'd like to really see that step up. We do the man. We try to do as much as we can for kids, and a lot of times it's almost heartbreaking because like we've done it. We've done tracking systems, tracking collars, any kind of clothing, boots, chaps, whatever, lights. It don't matter. And then the kid, it's something new for a week or two, but the parents, they don't follow through with it.
That's right.
And so the kid's still, within a week or two, he's right back just playing video games because he don't have nobody to take him hunting.
That's right.
And that's the part where, that's what sucks, man, because like we're trying to do our part, but we can't do but so much, if it's not our child.
That's right. That's right.
So what kind of good, just coon hunting stories you got that you can give listeners? I know they like a story. We try to get one or two good stories, and they can be rough. We encourage that. And they can be outlandish, and they don't even have to be all the way true. We'll go with that. Oh,
I'm trying to think. Probably I was probably, I was 14 probably. I was hunting behind my parents' house one night. We seen this light in this field, and my buddy's like, "Man, there's somebody out in that field." So I told him, I said, "Well, let me go talk to him. I don't want to." There was an old landowner. He'd get out there on Friday and Saturday nights, and he'd drink him a fifth of liquor, and he'd just start shooting.
Oh my! Oh, will.
And I was like, "Yeah, let me go talk to this guy." He said, "We're not on his land." I said, "I understand that, but them bullets go anywhere." And we went and to talk to him, and this light disappeared. I'd never seen this light again. And we were walking back, and my buddy's like, "You ever heard the story of this old woman that carries this light around the woods? That's what we just seen."
Uh-oh.
So he had me scared to go hunting for about 4 or 5 days. I believed him for a minute. And then it turned out to be a UFO.
Yeah.
And then we don't know what it was, but it dang sure disappeared by the time we got to that field. And it was a bright light. I don't know, but it spooked me for a while.
Yeah, I'd say so. It spooked me. That's for sure.
Got a bunch of, snake stories. I know one, we were in a competition one night. They were walking this dog, and we got about 20 yards, and I done seen the coon. I said, "He's got the coon." I looked down, and this moccasin was coming straight towards me. And I turned around to run, and when I did, I fell underwater. And I don't know where that snake went to this day. But every one of them said I could have won Funniest Home Videos, me under that water. I don't know where that snake went from there, but
don't care.
I'd say, no, I don't care. But I was completely underwater for a good 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's snakes can make people, snakes and spooks and haunts and haints, they can make people hurt themselves. And they can make people do things that they didn't think they could do.
You're exactly right. My wife's good about scaring me too, and I get scared real easy. And the stupidest stuff. In the woods by myself, I'm fine, but it's just around the house. I was cleaning dog kennels one night, and I had all my dog food in the truck, and I took one bag. My phone rang, and I was talking to somebody on the phone, and I come back and had the door open in my truck. Well, I thought I seen somebody standing in the front yard, and I kind of looked. I said, "Nah, it wasn't nobody." I mean, I live in the middle of nowhere. And my wife had done climbed in the truck, sitting on top of that dog food bag, and she recorded it, and she scared me, God almighty.
Oh, shit.
I screamed, took the dog food, and went the other way.
Yeah, I'm one of those that if I get scared real bad like that, I won't scream or nothing like that. I might swing and hit somebody, but after the fact, it can be 10 minutes later, then I fall to pieces. Like I don't, while it's happening, it's not bad, but after that, I'll be tore up for an hour. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
I'm like that too. I don't scare in the woods, and I think that's a lot of guys that hunt are like that. They don't get scared out, in the middle of the night out there by themselves, but probably some of the least little old thing will make you jump.
Oh yeah, and one night I was in Indiana. We were fixing to start a hunt on Monday night. This was like Saturday night. I got up there a few nights early and hunted this place I was staying. There was a management area right there, so I pleasure hunted, and I had a map card, to pretty much maneuver my way around the river and all that stuff. I thought something was just following me through the woods, just looking. I'm like, man, something's looking at me. I just felt like something is staring at me. And all I could think of out there, I was like, man, I watched all these Dateline shows, all these people killing these people in Indiana and Illinois, these parks and stuff. I was like, something's staring at me. So I turned my light on. It's a damn deer just following me through the woods, step for step. I make a step. She's making a step. She's looking dead at me. She couldn't figure out what I was doing, I guess. See, but that spooked me pretty good.
Now, you mean to tell me you was out there with a coon dog? And there was a deer there? Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, them coon dogs run all the deer off.
Oh, hey, all the way to another country. They'll run them slap out of here. I called a guy one night, and him and his son, we were all on the same lease. And his son been trying to kill this little old deer. I mean, it's a decent deer. And me and Nate were out there, and we were, I don't think we were coon hunting, would we? We're doing something. I don't remember. We was in the cornfield.
I think so.
And this buck.
We was coon hunting.
Yeah, we was coon hunting. This buck, he walks out there and looks at the dog. We're in a tall cornfield. And he just kept, like you're talking about, he kept following us. Well, the dog would go over there and look at him. Dog barked at him 1 or 2 times and ran the other way. Old deer was stalking him down. We had to run this damn deer off ourselves. So I texted that guy and I told him, I said, hey, in the morning, I said, have your son go over here and sit at such and such place. I said, tell him to send me a picture. Well, at 8:15, I got a picture. His son killed that deer with a bow. He said, how'd you know that deer was going to be here? I said, well, we were out coon hunting. He said, you seen a deer when y'all had dogs out? I said, yeah, imagine that. It's crazy. He said, well, I thought they ran all the deer off. I said, we don't have deer dogs. Mm-mm. And he it converted that guy, like he really did. He after that he couldn't believe it. He was like, I just can't believe that.
That's kind of the situation. I got about 14,000 acres of my wife's family land that I hunt right here. And when I moved over here, they pretty much told me, well, you can hunt and deer season comes in, you got to cut it off. Well, I guess they got tired of me calling every night about going hunting. He's like, man, just go hunting, but let me know. Just shoot me a text. You ain't got to talk to me. Just shoot me a text. Tell me where you're going to be. And one night I called him. I was like, dude, you need to come over here. I want to show you something. He had been hunting this big buck for a while. And that buck followed us around all night long like that. And we seen probably 30 deer. And we got done, got back to the truck, and he said, look, don't text me, don't call me unless you have some kind of problem. He said, I'm convinced now these dogs don't hurt this deer hunting.
That's right. That's right. And it's a shame there's so many people that still like that to this day. They're just gung ho. They don't bite. They're not buying into the hype. And I'm like, it's not a hype, it's the truth.
Yep.
Like we hog hunt with dogs, all deer season. Now we do hog hunt a lot at night. During deer season, we hunt at night pretty much exclusively. It's not that we don't legally have to, but we do that out of respect, to a lot of places, because there are people hunting, and when you're running hog dogs, it's not a quiet deal. I mean, you're out there raising canes, trucks running wide open back and forth. It's not going to hurt the deer, but you know what I'm saying. It's just that some people, they're going to be like, well, I could have had a deer, but you guys came through here. Yeah, so we just don't even worry with it. We avoid the whole thing. We run at night, and we got several places. They're happy that we're there. They done figured it out.
You see a lot of different things at night. You'll see the craziest things at night.
Yes.
I've shared spotlighting deer before. I've been in the middle of nowhere on a dirt road at 3:00 in the morning. A man drive up asking me how to get 30 miles from here. I'm like, man, what are you doing here?
Yeah, that's way lost.
I mean, you see all kinds. Yeah, you see all kinds of stuff.
They had this. What's that meteor shower they've been having this past week or 2 weeks or something?
Ursid.
Some kind of big meteor shower, and we were hunting the other night, and we seen one come across the sky. Like, it wasn't like your normal meteor shower shooting star kind of deal at all. This thing was like, it was the biggest thing. I'll never see nothing like that again in my life, I don't imagine. And we were out in the middle of nowhere on top of this mountain, and we had a front row seat to it. It was pretty cool. But it was kind of nerve-wracking at first, because it's like, this is way too big to be a shooting star. We thought it was like the end of the world coming or something, It's like, holy smokes. But you do get to see a lot of amazing things and some crazy things.
You do. And dog hunters in general, you meet a lot of good people.
Oh, without a doubt. They're some of the best folks.
I can't. It is, and I can't speak enough about coon hunters. I mean, a lot of people, we draw each other at these hunts. We bicker and moan and argue.
Mm-hmm.
But in the time of need, everybody steps up.
That's right. And I think it's like that with most dog hunting genres.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying one's better than the other by no means, but I think we're all wired like that. Like I know guys right now that's got dogs and we don't get along, but I guarantee you, if something was happening, somebody was hurt or somebody needed help, we'd be the first ones to help each other.
That's right.
Even if we bicker back and forth, like you said, but in a time of need, we put that stuff to the side and just move on.
And that means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends all over the world that I talk to every day.
That's pretty cool to be able. I think it's cool that we're able to do that now. In this day and time. When I was younger, probably the same way with you. When we were teenagers, we would have never dreamed we'd be able to. At the end of your fingertips, you could talk to somebody in Australia.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
It's like, I didn't even have a phone. It was like, I didn't have a cell phone. It's pretty cool. Definitely different. So where do you see where you got yourself going in the next few years? I mean, you still going to keep on keeping on? You going to get bigger? You're going to stay about the same? What's your plans?
We're probably going to keep on doing what we're doing. I'd like to win a world championship. Like I said, I've placed third in the PKC World, and last year I was one win away from getting in the finals again. I caught a bad break. I had a coon in a hole, and I actually stuck my hand in the hole with my phone to try to take a video, and the coon bit me and pushed my phone back. So I put my phone back into the hole and I thought maybe I could get him on camera. Gave my phone to the judge, and he was looking over it, and the coon come out the hole where the judge was standing at and ran through the guide and some spectators. Nobody got to score him. None of us seen him. The judge didn't see him.
Oh,
so it was a pretty bad deal. But we've got Doc's been sick for about 6-7 months. I finally got him broke back out and healthy, and we're gonna back and come March. We're gonna try to see if we can't get into the finals again.
Hell yeah. What was wrong with him? What was wrong with Doc?
Tick disease. Tick disease.
Arlichia?
Yep, Arlichia.
We've been hearing that more and more common. I'm serious, man. Several years ago, I didn't even know what it was. And it's really getting to where I hear that a lot. So what all they have to do to get him back, or what did you have to do to get him back healthy?
Well, we run doxy through him for 30 days and gave him the imazole shot. He came back pretty strong last year like that, and it got warm after the nationals, and it flared back up. So I did the same thing pretty much,
Mm-hmm.
and brought him back out, and he looked amazing for 5 or 6 days, and then went back downhill. So I kind of just set him up, let him rest for 2 or 3 months,
Yeah.
and started him on some stuff that Elite Nutrition has. And we used it for about 30 days, and then I started back on the doxy. And we didn't get him the imazole shot. And I brought him back out last Saturday night. I think he's 11 for 12 this week. So,
Oh, hell yeah.
I'd say he's getting back to where he needs to be. I'm crossing my fingers.
There you go. No,
We'll just play
I'm
it by ear.
glad he's doing better, man. That's some tough stuff. You know, that's like I said, that's something that a lot of people have never had to deal with, and they don't know what it is. I mean, what kind of symptoms did he have? So some of our listeners out there, maybe you can help them, later on in the future.
Just didn't have the hustle that he normally has. And he, like I said, he's usually going to have them coons. And when you go to missing 4 or 5 different trees in a row, something's not right.
Yeah.
But the hustle was the main thing. He's a big field edge running dog. He can get on a field edge somewhere, he's going to do it. And when you cut him loose on a field edge and he just fiddles right in there and goes into the woods, something ain't right.
Yeah.
And you 5 minutes from now, he's 200 yards. Nah, that ain't the style of dog he is.
That's right.
Just real sluggish acting,
And that's also knowing your dog. You knew that
That's
something was off. If somebody doesn't pay attention to their dog and doesn't know the dog that they have, then they'll never know that the dog's not hustling like he should have, or having an off night or two is one thing. But like you said, when it gets to where you have a very high caliber dog, if you got a 300 Win Mag that's shooting like a 22, something's off.
That's right.
Ain't no doubt. So.
So we got him on the meds and got him. I hope we got him squared away. I think so anyways, but we'll see. Only time will tell.
That's right. Ain't no doubt. Ain't no doubt at all. Well, man, I tell you, it's been good here talking with you, going over some of this stuff, and just being able to talk to somebody who I can tell you really enjoy this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just about chasing a dollar around. You wouldn't be doing it that damn long if it was. Because it gets to where it takes more dollars than it does than you win sometimes. And when somebody's been doing it that many years, it's a labor of love as well. And so if somebody wanted to get a pup from you, or do you have pups available to the public from time to time, or for the public?
We usually have a litter pretty much year round with a different females.
Okay, I got you.
I think I've had a litter of pups since January, so I'd say yeah, I'll have plenty of pups.
All right, well I got you. Well that's one. Like I said, we get a lot. A lot of our listeners they'll holler at us and be like, "Hey man, I heard such and such, and I'm gonna see if they had any pups or whatever, so we can they can look you up and get with you on that maybe." So is there what's the next exciting thing coming up for PKC? You said you got Grand America coming up, right?
Yeah, that's a UKC.
That's UKC though, right?
Yep, that's UKC. And then we've got the $100,000 hunt coming up in February. So
now where's that going to be at? In Louisiana?
That will be, well, I think it's going to be in Crowville, or it might be. Actually, no, it's going to be in. I can't even remember the name of the town now.
Okay.
It's right there at the Mississippi-Louisiana line. It's close to Rolling Fork. They call it something. I can't. It's going to be at the Terra Plantation in on the Mississippi River. I
Yeah.
can't remember the place what it's called, but it's a nice facility. It's a good hunt.
Good deal. Is there any other hunts or anything else you want to put out there on this episode?
No, we just finished. We had a big Christmas bash thing we do every year where all the proceeds go to a family in need. And
Oh, that's cool.
I want to thank, if any of them are listening to this podcast, I'd like to thank all of them for helping out for that hunt we had last week. We were able to give a family of 6 a good Christmas. So
Good deal.
that was our second year, and we're going to try to do it bigger next year. So
That's awesome there, because I mean, there's so many people like we were talking about earlier with the economy, the way it is. There's a lot of people that it's been really hard for them, and there's guys out there that work their butts off, and sometimes they just don't have it. They're stretching it as tight as they can get it. It ain't because they're lazy or don't do nothing. It's just that they went as far as they can go. So being able to help somebody, that's all, especially somebody who really could use the help. And I commend you guys for that, and we appreciate that. That just goes to show you how good the dog hunting world is.
that's right.
So, well, Mr. Brett, we got about an hour and a half on here.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything else you want to add to this?
Yeah, just like I said, I want to encourage people to look at coon hunters and dog hunters in general different. I mean, we're all good people. We ain't the ones just trespassing on your land to get a dog. And just want to, I guess, thank Ike Rainey and Malcolm Raines for making my dreams come true.
Cool.
And my wife for supporting me, I guess, and my family.
Amen, brother. Hey, you can't beat that. You got it. You living the dream.
I guess.
Or is it? I tell people, they used to say that there's like, "Oh, you're living the dream." I was like, a dream is something that you keep looking forward to. I said, this is kind of like a nightmare because I'm doing it every day.
That's exactly right.
It's really happening. Oh man,
that's exactly right. It's a hobby that turned into a side gig that kept me from playing college baseball, but it kept me in a lot of trouble.
Hey, that's a good thing, man. And like you said, we need to keep them kids out, off the couch, get them in the woods and on the water. It don't matter if you're taking them hunting, taking them fishing, playing baseball, something besides laying on the couch, playing video games.
That's right.
And so, well, Mr. Brett, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time. And if there's anything that we can do to help, and when you have upcoming things going on, let us know. We'd be happy to be involved as much as we can.
Sounds good. I appreciate y'all having me on.
All right, my buddy. Well, you have a good night. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you.
All right.
See you, Mr. Brett.
All right, see you.
Bye-bye. White guy, you can tell he just really
Oh, yeah.
really loves coon hunting. And I don't know how many people have told me his name. And Austin told me about him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Austin's one because I kept thinking when Michael was telling us, what's Michael's last name?
Michael Starnes.
Michael Starnes. Hope you're listening to this, boy. We finally got him on.
Yeah, I was thinking about texting and letting him know
Yeah.
we finally recorded with him because I guarantee he's been sweating it. 'Cause he was
Yeah.
all over me. He was like, "Look, you just gotta
Get him on. It's a good show. And
So that was for you. Mr. Michael.
exactly. And, well, I mean, and like there's a lot of podcasts out there that they delve into the hunt,
Mhm.
the competition. They delve into all this thing. I like to get into the person, and let's just talk, see who you are and how you are. Because here's the deal: we can get a little bit of information that goes a long way. I can say, okay, look up the UKC, PKC, Pro Sport, ACHA rules, and you can look them up online. But you can't look up how Mr. Brett is. You can't look up how he feels. That's what you're getting right here, bro. Right here. You're getting how these people are, the real life side of it. You'll get to hear them when they first start. How some people are a little nervous, some people are wide open and they slow down. Some people they don't say a whole lot, and then they get just talking wide, just wild, and it's a good time. And look, I appreciate all our listeners. We say this all the time, but we got to say it every time, and I really mean that. We had we've been having a pretty steady flow of listeners that are coming by and stopping by and hunting with us.
Mm-hmm.
And we like that. Now, y'all come on and hunt with us. See how easy it is. It's pretty easy. We just ride around the truck and jump out and grab them. Like they're right there on the side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we love y'all. Take care. Appreciate y'all. And until the next time, we'll see y'all.
Thank you. Hope y'all enjoyed that episode. Stay tuned for our new episodes every Monday and Wednesday. For questions, advertising, or just to chat, email DixieDoggers01@gmail.com.